He moves the slowest, watches from the farthest, and when he arrives, well, even kings tremble.
Powerful image.
It really is. Today, we're doing a deep dive into this truly enigmatic figure, Lord Shani, god of karma, justice, time.
Right.
And our main source today, the enduring wisdom of Lord Shani, looks really promising. It aims to unpack not just who he is, but maybe why he's so feared or misunderstood.
Exactly. And why his wisdom, ancient as it is, still feels so relevant.
So our mission today, let's try and unpack Shani, understand the fear, but also the profound wisdom and what you can take away from it.
And what's fascinating right from the start, that this source positions Shani less as just a myth and more as like an embodiment of cosmic law.
Cosmic law, how so?
Well, it talks about his tests not being random. They operate on this precise, almost mathematical principle. Less about simple reward and punishment.
And more like
a gravitational pull guiding you toward your true path. It's a really interesting framing.
that definitely goes beyond the usual stories. So, okay, where does the source begin? His origins, how does it set him apart?
It starts with his birth, son of Surya, the sun god, super radiant, and his wife Chaya, who was, well, a shadow.
A shadow wife. Interesting contrast already.
Right. And Shani himself, born with dark skin, these piercing eyes, very different. The text really emphasizes this distinctiveness.
And his connection to Saturn.
Yes, straight away. That planet, in Vedic thought governs truth, discipline, destiny. So his very nature, his appearance, and challenged perceptions right from birth made him unique, often misunderstood.
That initial reaction, especially from his father, Surya, sounds pretty impactful. Does the source explore that, the psychology of it?
It does, yeah. It's presented as quite pivotal. Surya apparently hesitated, doubted him because of his dark complexion, just couldn't reconcile it.
Oof, tough start.
Totally. And Shani felt that rejection deeply. The source describes this raw anger, and he casts this intense glance at Surya.
The famous gaze.
The famous gaze. Legend says Surya's chariot horses stumbled. His light actually dimmed.
No.
But here's the key thing the source points out. It wasn't really a curse. It was more like a gaze so sharp, so honest, it forced everyone, Surya included, to confront their own truths, their biases.
So it was about revealing truth, not just causing harm.
Precisely. Surya eventually got it, reconciled. But that moment cemented Shani's core function. He sees through illusion. He forces truth.
Okay, I see how that connects, that gaze, that truth-revealing power. How does the text link that to his role as the big judge of karma and justice? Because, let's be honest, many people just hear Shani and think misfortune.
Right, that's the common fear. But this source argues pretty strongly against that simple view. It reframes it.
How so? From punishment to...
Unflinching justice.
Yeah.
Cold, impartial. Shani Dev, according to this text, doesn't operate on, whim or prayer alone. He delivers based on your karma.
Okay.
So if you've done wrong, the source says, he might delay your success, force you to look inward.
Wow. Makes sense. A pause for reflection.
Exactly. And if you've done right, he might test your patience first, refine your character, polish you, like you said earlier, and then grant rewards, maybe even beyond what you hoped for. It's about cosmic balance, not just random bad luck.
That idea of a universal ledger, it's less like a grumpy god and more like an unavoidable consequence, almost like physics.
Sort of, yeah. A very precise accounting. Which leads us to something often really feared. Sade Sati.
Ah, yes, the 7.5-year Saturn cycle. People dread that.
They do. But again, the source offers a different perspective. It frames Sade Sati, with all its trials and setbacks, as the prime time for Shani's polishing work.
So, not just hardship, but accelerated growth.
That's the idea, an intense spiritual growth phase. It forces discipline, self-awareness. It's like a cosmic boot camp, maybe, pushing you to become stronger.
That clicks, especially when you remember who Shani is in the stories. Not just a judge, right? He's depicted as a yogi.
A deep yogi, yeah. A devotee of Lord Shiva, often shown meditating, riding his crow, quiet strength.
So his teachings ultimately aren't about anger. They're about
patience, discipline, unwavering truth. Those are the core values.
And that feels incredibly relevant now, doesn't it, in our world, which is so often about, shortcuts, speed, showing off.
Absolutely. His core message, highlighted in this source, really cuts through that noise. It's basically everything has its time.
Right.
But, and this is the crucial part, when your time comes, nothing can stop you.
That's powerful. So thinking about the listener, when you face those delays, those struggles in life, when things feel stuck, remembering this perspective from the enduring wisdom of Lord Shani, maybe it's not just bad luck. Maybe it is Shani shaping you.
Refining you,
Yeah.
making you stronger. He's the slowest, yes. The text implies that signifies deliberation, precision.
But also the most precise. It's not about punishment. It's about strengthening.
Exactly. So the final thought, maybe, is to consider how embracing that patience, that truth, even when it's hard, how that can actually turn setbacks into real growth. Not just obstacles to overcome, but opportunities.